It's necessary to have global warming. Otherwise, what's the point of this earth and this life? So let the doom come if this is the kind of lifestyle we are going to live. So fear is no good. Love is the force. Power of love. And you cannot bake good bread if you do not have love in your heart. That's the real art, the art of living.
Knowing all this, for the soft-bellied rising of the loaves, happening while you're doing something else, going on without you, unstoppable. Then the age-old process of baking, smells of home and welcome, in breaking and sharing, the grain you feel in your mouth, memory and joy in this moment.
Here we got 3 types of flour. There's a stone ground white here.
Batches of flour vary, types of flour, brands, mills vary.
Husks are being ground in with this. And generally when I bake, I just don't use recipes. But as I said, you know, I just play it a bit by ear. Don't worry.
Feels good anyway, doesn't it?
It's like all these things you see and it looks so easy. It's not so easy.
No, it isn't, is it? Have you got it? I mean, it's good.
Okay, when you've done your roll, put them on those trays.
Okay.
And give you a bit
How am I going to get which is mine?
try to So when you roll, then you feel kind of that you can't really roll it anymore. Then and you feel that the wish is well baked in there. Then you think, well, maybe it's all right. Then you can go and
Oh, well, we dropped one on the floor, never mind. I think you may have twisted it the wrong way. Yes, exactly. Okay, so look at the trays then.
Yeah.
Better roll it out.
Right, shall we?
Do you want some of this?
That's a twist. That's a twist, Jonathan.
That's a twist. Okay.
Yeah, but it's very nice.
What's a plait?
You happy with your rolling?
Well,
Are you happy with the ranges?
Edward. And how do you pronounce your surname, Edward?
Pettit.
Pettit. So to make sure that you're not French, yeah? Good morning, Edward. My name is Mark. Welcome. Okay. Who are you?
Molly.
Give me a hand. My name is Mark. Welcome. Okay. Now, we're from Holland. You all know where Holland hides out?
Close to north.
You want me to draw a map?
As you can see, I had prepared this yesterday, which I brought with me from home yesterday. It's been around for quite a long time. Feel it gently. Be gentle when you handle bread. Just around 200 mils. You know, we're going to be using water for various purposes, and because this is actually what is going to raise the bread. This has got the yeasts and the bacteria in there. And then I just want you to get your hands in and mix it up. I want to make it nice and soft. Yeah, they're all too dry, I can see. Yeah, because I'll show you why. Because we're going to knead them in a particular way, which I call air kneading. Okay. So we're going to do it between our hands. The idea is that we gradually are able to stretch the dough between our fingers. Try and keep the lump sort of in your finger ends like this. And you'll notice immediately how the noise level goes down, so we're not all clattering on the table, which is nice. We're using both hands to put energy into the dough rather than just one hand and holding the bowl with the other hand, which is deeply counterproductive. And you won't get a soft eating quality to the dough, and it won't rise as much either. Understanding the process of bread making, we should continue developing its we lose it about
would get it finer with the
So you switch maybe from porridge to bread.
Oh, I eat practically anything, so I don't
You
really
eat
mind.
practically anything.
Yeah.
You eat soup in the morning also. What we did here is we put some flour and some grains in the bags. Okay.
Not quite the same.
So as you can see, they don't have the same color without fire. They did not use the fire yet. It's actually the first
In the sun?
oven, right,
Exactly.
in the sun. They put it on a piece of stone, on a flat piece of stone. They put this, a little bit less liquid than this.
There's a new study that's come out in July this year showing that you can completely get rid of the problematic gliadin proteins from wheat dough by fermenting it with selected lactobacilli from sourdough. Now this is really, should be revolutionary news for celiacs and other people. A lot of people can't tolerate modern bread because it isn't fermented for long enough. That's nice and soft, yeah. Just Sue, compare that. It's
amazing how
see how it's, yeah, and it's that's very soft. That Alan, yes.
I think, yeah, so you want to get in a little bit like that because you don't want it to, I'm going to,
Thank you.
and you just take a little bit at a time. Tracy, you right there, or, yeah, just try kind of use your fist a bit more. Just work it in with your when it starts gluing together, you want to use your fist.
Look a bit stiff now.
Yes.
And I've had so many different areas of flesh that it's been likened to. Can't be repeated, but a baby's bottom, I think it's the most. It should feel like a baby's bottom, but there are lots of others.
But then if you got a lot more, if you made a coarse bread with a lot of rye in it, then the baby's bottom would be a coarse. Now can get it less sticky and use this as part of the bread.
plastic container with knives and forks on one table and the wooden one with knives and forks on the other.
Or we just put the whole thing in the middle, and some people just think
I mean, it's not plastic.
One of the settings into the food industry is to, in the interest of selling more product, is to suggest people that they can have all the attributes of very fresh bread all at once, all the time, forever and ever. You know, even 7 days after they bought the bread, or on every bread-eating occasion. And this is just a lie.
We need to check their window
You
thing.
can have, yes, take a little piece. It's easier to take just a little nugget, a walnut-sized piece. It's easier to stretch it. You have to sort of roll it round and round. Otherwise, if you pull it in one direction, it'll break quite easily. But if you kind of tease
And
it
they
round,
can also know how to make the chapati. But I can tell you, it's so simple. You just take some of the flour
And water.
and don't use the flour of the maize, because that doesn't stick. That you know. You use water, you use a little bit of salt, and then you really start kneading. And maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And what happens too is that you get a very nice skin from it, because your blood circulation from your whole arm is really very well. Huh? It goes all around your arms, and so that's giving a lot of food for the skin. So it's not only that you're just sort of doing hard work, but you're making yourself actually more and more beautiful while you're
And,
working. And actually the smell which is in this plant comes out when you kind of like make it warm or you rub it. So for over centuries, hundreds of years, people were making these kinds of bread. And then one day they had something like this kind of little bit of flour with the water, and somebody forgot it. The flour and the water together made that some sort of gas was produced. And actually this was the beginning of what they call sourdough. I don't know if you know the word sourdough from sourdough bread. This made that the gas actually that came when you started to knead again on this, and then you put it on the fire, actually the bread started to grow bigger. And this was the beginning of the invention of the bread as you can see it today. But if you cannot play with matches yet, you just make a little fireplace for yourself, like this.
Okay
Huh? You can do that. And then you make it all in small. And you just play as if you're baking something. So you make a tiny little bread. When you give time to bread and water, it becomes bigger. You see? I put it in yesterday and it was half as big. And so now it's much bigger.
Dit stuk is het heel erg heet.
Yeah, in the middle it's the warmest. It is, yeah. Yeah, so...
Ja, want we hebben... Oh ja.
doesn't...
Did I sound it's just a push.
Neat little surfaces. With much of bread making, the more sort of pizzazz and sort of chutzpah you do it with, the better. You know, you just do something, you go for it, you shape it, and then it'll find a wonderful natural sort of resolution when it's risen. And we do need to clean our hands, so some of you could use the bowl, the wash-up bowl there, and some... Where is the nearest place where we can wash our hands? Just in the kitchen there, yeah. Okay. Don't touch it. Yeah. Yeah, I've done it once when I had a dough which somebody had forgotten about and it got completely stuck. And the simplest way was to put it in the oven. And I'm actually just pinching the dough, and as I do that, it's creating a tension round the circumference of the dough. And you have to have some friction against the table. And do you see what it's doing? It's gradually pulling that and creating that circumference, which, if we were going to do a freestanding loaf, would help it. So having done that, you just dip it in upside down into the bowl like that. Give it a good roll around, and then put it with what will be the bottom, the bit that your fingers are in, facing up.
When you start feeling that, it's kind of happened. The bonding has kind of happened. It's no way to describe it really. But if you need too much, as I said before, it can be a bit. You have to leave it to prove for a bit longer. But just enough is the trick. You're doing very well, all of you. Very good.
You need to make sure you push it though,
Yeah.
not just roll it.
Yeah.
This is I do find that a lot of people just roll it backwards and forwards. People really push in.
Yeah, exactly. That's the movement. That's it.
Yeah.
Push and drag it along. But some people, they kind of, they need by dragging it along like this, and it's just all sorts of ways. I just find my hands get shaky when I do that.
Just do it around or something?
Yeah, you can do it well. The problem is with the oven is that we don't have very much oven space, and it's for today. I think. I mean, when you do it at home, you can do it any shape you like. That's it.
It's extremely solid.
It's very solid. Yes. So you quite make
Pop up, yeah. There you are. That's the chapati that's ready. Whose was that? This one.
Mine.
Would anybody like to try the next one? Yeah? Okay. So you can put as little or as much oil as you want. I need a... may I have that plate, please?
Will they puff without the oil, or is it the oil that gets
No, they puff without the oil as well, but you need a different kind of... You need more skilled people than me cooking over a wood fire. But you can puff them with a cloth. And what I do is I cheat. I start doing this. And then what really works... A very basic vegetable that goes as an accompaniment with chapatis, because chapatis, though they can be eaten with honey, bread, jam, butter. I don't know if it's called a vegetable here, but probably not. But potato is very loved across the world. So I thought we'd do a very...
Oh, sorry.
Wow, look at that.
Isn't it amazing? There you are.
Wow.
Squash, garlic, whatever.
Smells as good as it looks too.
Have you turned them off? You haven't ruined mine.
Yes, I have. Okay.
You're joking.
I haven't ruined it. This looks
It's ruined mine. It's my first ever. Oh my God.
She's having yours.
and then is
Any
that
more?
all?
Is there any
You
more?
can fit in one of mine, I think.
Just one.
I think I'll just put in one and then the other one.
Your babies.
We'll do it in a bit.
That's for Octavia.
This one?
Yes, I can give that to Octavia.
Can you make another one as well, Sophie?
Oh. Sophie? Where's
My
Sophie?
name isn't.
The mother.
The first breads that we made were salty breads, which is focaccia, which is an Italian bread, and they could choose salty stuff to put in, which was anchovies, olives, sun-dried tomatoes, like sesame seed or poppy seed, or
Aniseed.
Oh, is it aniseeds? Yeah.
Aniseed,
Yeah. Look at the sculptures
yeah,
because
I
they're
will
the
bring them
sculptural
and then,
little
and
nut
then I'll
pieces.
ask them not to eat them yet, and so you just sort of have a look at how it looks like.
I haven't baked in those before, and because they're so tall, you know,
All our food, all our clothes, all everything comes from the soil. And so I would like to gratitude and thanks to the soil. And particularly my favorite people are worms. And I would like to thank the worms who work day and night to keep the soil friable and fertile. Long live the worms!
Not too academic, a bit more than I usually have in that opinion.
That's amazing. Very good bread, didn't you?
No,
Oh, right. When you
Because otherwise you got to.
I just like, I've always wanted to come
that's
here
all
and
like I
see
said,
what's going
that's,
on.
in the end, that's a personal.
Bread that you baked earlier.
Generally.
Cheese and then